Welcome to the Future Jam, a special solo episode because Alex, he got snowed in today. It snowed about 10 inches here, and, he's trapped at his brother's house. So, yeah, we'll get this done quick. I just had a few stories I wanted to cover, and I'll put the rest of the links we were going to cover in the show notes, so take a look at that. First off, let's just jump right into the dumb tech of the week, and I just got a real laugh out of this one because Apple recently filed a patent for a Fray free cable, and they have always had issues with their cables. Their cables are thin and seemingly delicate, and they always fray at the end. The iPod cables, all the way back to the iPod, the iPhone cables, MacBook chargers, like all of their chargers and cables always fray at the same point, always fail point. And they want to keep this thin, nice-looking design on their cabling, but it always fails. So they're coming up with a new patent to fix that. And basically what it's going to do is it's varying levels of stiffness across different sections to kind of like even out the strain on the cable. So parts of the cable are going to be more stiffer than others. I don't know if they'll actually ever implement this, but they could implement something that everybody else has implemented already. Just make your cables a little bit thicker and you wouldn't have this problem. So dumb tech of the week. I don't know why Apple hasn't fixed their cables over 10, 15 years period of time, but, they should. Let's jump right into Instagram, another dumb tech of the week. So Instagram has this new, new-ish now, but they're competing with TikTok with their own thing called Reels. And I'm sure you've seen Reels by now, but if you scroll through Reels at all, you'll see TikTok videos in Reels, like nonstop. Like almost all the videos have the TikTok watermark in the Instagram app, Reels. And you might be scratching your head like, why is this a thing? But people who are big creators on TikTok just re-upload their videos onto Reels. And then the algorithm kind of pushes those forward and people see those because they're popular videos. The downside to that is they're usually lower quality because they've been copied over and zoomed in and just doesn't look as good. And I guess Instagram doesn't like seeing TikTok advertised in their app. It kind of cheapens the whole app. So what they're doing is they're looking for that watermark now, the algorithm, and they're going to filter those out from like the basically filter them out from like just showing up in your feed. But you'll be able to, if you subscribe to that person, you'll still be able to see those TikTok copied over videos. So, I don't know. Reels is already a cheapened product anyway, so, this just cheapens it more. It alienates creators. And why use Reels? Honestly, just stick with TikTok. TikTok's so much better, so much easier to use. Instagram basically has a bunch of problems to figure out with this. So, not the first one, but yeah, lower quality TikTok videos on Instagram. Yeah, dumb. But anyways, let's jump into a couple news stories, and I'll put the rest in the rest I don't cover in the show notes. So first, I want to talk about a 3D house that's for sale now on Zillow. So it's the world's first or America's first 3D home that's for sale on Zillow. And I think it's $299,000 in New York, which is a pretty good pricing for a house in New York State. But a company called ARCS has patent pending technology that robotically builds foundations, exterior walls, interior walls, utility conduits, and more. So basically, they can build most of the house robotically. They basically set it up, and I think they said it takes about 8 hours to set up the platform, and then it slowly prints you a house using, I think mainly the building material is concrete. So it's layer by layer, layering up concrete. And, concrete's a solid build. That's a solid structure. You still have to get somebody to come in later and install a roof and all of that. So this is not 3D printing a roof, but this is saving a lot of time and labor. And they say it's going to be 50% cheaper. And basically, the reason why they're building this in New York State is because New York has some of the most stringent building codes, and so if they can get this to pass in New York, then they can basically, it's a way for them to prove their concept and release their build in other states and expand out. So the one on Zillow is a 1,407 square foot home, and it has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and 2.5 car garage. So I don't know what the 0.5 car garage is, but yeah, that's what it is. Let's jump into the next story. Nano Factories. So I this caught my eye just because I like answers to problems, and this is a weird one. So a group of engineers for Unilever, that they're a company that makes a lot of different food products, and just a big, huge company. And what they came up with was the issue they've always had was whenever they wanted to release a new test product or make a small batch of something, they'd have to basically dedicate a whole factory to that, or a section of a factory. And it costs a lot of money to get that up and going and running, and maybe only make a couple thousand of the product, or a small amount. So it's a lot of money to get it up and going just to make a small batch of something. So what they came up with was a nano factory. Basically, they ship a factory to a location where they think it's close to where the product, where their supply is. So say this one area has a good supply of fresh cocoa beans. So they'd ship the basically it's the same size as a shipping container. The cargo shipping containers you see in shipping container homes, yada yada. But basically they're putting a small factory inside a shipping container, and they can make test products or small local batches of things, and save a lot of time and money, and probably expand this further and come out with a whole bunch of small, unique products. So, they just expands what they're able to do, and I think it's interesting. Could be the future. I don't know, but yeah, it's just nano factories. Yeah. All right, let's get into our third story of the week, and that's kind of a weird one. So over the summer, there was a lot of protests and some riots, and police were able to get location data from Google. They were able to get what's called geofencing data. So basically, they just captured all the phones and users that were in a certain location at a certain time, and basically use that data to go pull people in to question. So a lot of people believe this is a big, breach of privacy, and I agree. Also, this is a dangerous precedent to set, because basically if you're, at a protest or, something like that, then you could be pulled into something that you did not, it could scare you away from going to a protest, basically. So you could get embroiled in something you weren't involved in. So say somebody broke into a shop and started burning it down. You weren't involved in that. You're peacefully protesting. You could still get pulled in for questioning, and that could scare you away from protesting in the future. So basically, it's an intimidation. It could be used as an intimidation tool by the government to squelch people protesting. So that's why it's a scary precedent to set. And, if you're going to a protest, just either leave your phone at home or turn it off, or turn off your location, like your GPS, all of that. Probably a smart idea. So let's jump into the final story of the week that I wanted to cover, and that's Twitter is considering a subscription cost to rely less on ads. And I think this makes a lot of sense, because Twitter can become a controversial platform, and a lot of companies probably don't want to put ads on there because of, there's stuff on there that could range from one extreme to the next, and I think that hinders Twitter from having free and open like conversation. So they have to pull down a lot of stuff just because they're worried about companies pulling their ads. Also, they don't want to rely solely on ads because sometimes, that can fluctuate and based on traffic and a lot of other things. So they want, just like any company, a stable amount of money that's coming through the door each month. And no better way to do this than to have a subscription service. So Facebook's been toying with this idea as well, but Twitter would also probably bundle in some premium features like being able to like look at your, like if you're like a big user on there, you could probably analyze, the analytics. They'd have more analytics for you. TweetDeck, access to TweetDeck, which is a popular app for creators, I believe. So yeah, it's a good idea. I think maybe it would be good to rely less on ads because that's just more opinions you have to, kowtow to because, the more you rely on other people for your, platform, the more you have to like make sure you're like fulfilling their needs. Let's just say that. So, that's all the stories I have for today. We'll come back next week with a full episode, but I just wanted to put out a quick one today, and in the show notes I put the links to the other topics we're going to talk about. So, stay safe out there if it's snowing in your area, but thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week.